It's been a while since I made one of these, and I'm sorry, but I'm going to give you an update for what's been happening with my agency in August, and I'll also give you a little bit of July. Sorry for not keeping up with these videos. What's actually been happening is I've been in the process of building up my other YouTube channel, which is really just focused on tutorials, how-to videos, helping people specifically in my niche. Now, that's a long-term play. I don't think I'm going to get any clients from that early on, but it is setting the groundwork for some stuff in the future. Now, what's been happening with Gavin Hewitson's agency? Listen, very busy. August is probably the biggest month that we've done so far. We are on track, so I'm nothing confirmed yet, but we're on track to do about 17K. I'm currently at 10K, and I've got some invoices coming in, depending and ensuring that as long as everybody pays these bills, we'll be hitting the 17K mark, which is the biggest month to date, which is fantastic, and my profit margins are maintaining and pretty much staying very, very steady. Now, July was an interesting one. I actually was down from 15K the previous month to 12.5K, I think. And it was my first interaction with somebody refusing to pay me, which was really interesting. I actually had someone who actually paid me this month, but they ran into some financial troubles. And I actually learned a really valuable lesson from this. We had an agreement. We were going to do the work. They delayed on paying the invoice 2 weeks, and since my work is on a strict timeline, I had to continue doing the work. It's just something that I wanted to do. I chose to do that, and I wanted to continue delivering the work that they were supposed to pay us for because we were also on a rev share agreement. So anything that I do, I get a percentage of revenue, and I was like, well, I don't want to let up on these campaigns because I get a chunk of that revenue. So basically, sent out the rest of the campaigns. And I do this thing where I do weekly video reports for all my clients, and I'll make a separate video about that later. But in these weekly video reports, I talk about things that are working well, things that are happening for the client, and I kept delivering them to this client, even though they weren't paying me. And I think what that did is it really endeared me to the individual, and it was kind of leading with a bit of empathy, I think is what it was. And I don't know if that's like a lesson I'm going to take in the future for a lot of these clients that I work with, because I'm not a huge fan of, giving a lot if I'm not getting anything back in return. But it was just interesting because it got the bill across the line. Anyway, got paid by them. And then this month has been crazy busy. And it's actually a month now where I've realized I need to actually hire a project manager because I just do not have enough time to do everything anymore. And I'm just getting stuck in the weeds, being in the business rather than on the business, which is a bit of a problem. Now, things that I'm focusing on for on the business. I've got a really long content calendar for YouTube videos, TikTok, and Instagram. I made a bunch of videos on this channel about that stuff. I'll also link to my agency YouTube channel down below, which is where a lot of my energy has been. And I've also been cranking out the SEO. I've been pumping out a lot of articles, and I've also been doing a bunch of guest posting, getting links back to my website, which is slowly picking me up in the old SEO, which has been awesome because I actually got a client from that just recently, someone typing in my website. And this is stuff that I was talking about like 6 months ago when I was making these videos, setting the groundwork and the framework really early on. And I'm telling you, I've been saying this for ages, it's slowly but surely gonna pay off. So big takeaways, I think, for this video, for anybody watching it, is somebody was telling me about this recently, they were like, think about the agency that's gonna get you 10 times the results of what you currently want, and what do you need to be doing to build that agency up? Now, obviously, don't hire a bunch of people for services that you don't need them to actually help fulfill, but start thinking about things structurally in terms of, okay, what boxes do I need to tick? You're probably gonna need a good website. Start getting that stuff set up. You're probably gonna need some sort of SEO strategy. Start setting up some SEO stuff. Now, obviously, keep in mind of your budget here, right? Like if you can't afford to get like a $5,000, $10,000 website, sure, but just start getting some plays set up that will pay off in the long term, such as LinkedIn, right? Post on LinkedIn quite regularly, because in 5 years' time or in 2 years' time, even in like a year's time, you're going to regret not having built up all that goodwill from posting free stuff and giving away free information then, instead of me, where I've been like posting all this stuff now. I'm not trying to like, instead of me, woo, it's not like that. But I've been posting a lot on LinkedIn, and I'm only now starting to see the returns from that come through. And it's been like a year since I started my agency. I just realized that. It's been literally 1 year since I've started my agency, and things are finally picking up. I'm finally saving up some money, which is awesome. But it's like that's without a paid outreach strategy. That's without hiring any appointment setters. It's all stuff that's just been really grassrootsy that's paid off in the long run. Now, things I'm also restarting. I'm restarting cold email. Now, this is something, if you're doing cold email and you're a dude, here's a little tip for you. Change the cold email address that you're using from your name. If your name's like John, Steven, whatever the hell, change that name to a female's name, and then change the profile picture in Google Workspace, if you're using Google Workspace, to that of a hot chick. I swear to God, it increases your conversion rates and your reply rates. It's weird. We're freaking monkeys, but it works. And if you're not comfortable and probably shouldn't use, listen, don't use some random person's photo on the internet. Get AI to whip up one for you, right? Call it like, you know, Stephanie at Grow Your Agency, or just something like real hot, like Harriet, you know, something real nasty. And then get that, have that as like the name for the email address, and I guarantee you your reply rates will boost up and increase. And if you have the budget, get a hot closer. You know, somebody who's attractive to help you close some of these deals. It just works. I don't know what it is. I've even been in some sales calls where like I've had a hot girl like trying to pitch me a service, and I just so desperately want her to like me because I'm a freaking like monkey. And it's listen, not desperately, okay, but like I want this chick to like me, and I'm like, oh, you know, she tells me the price, and then I'm like, fuck, I don't want her to think I'm fucking broke, and so you end up being more convinced to sign on to the service. I'm telling you that psychology works, and it's definitely worthwhile. If you can't afford to hire an attractive female to close for you, see if you can hire, well, not even hire, but just implement the first name and then the profile picture, and then when this call comes, like when you set the appointment and then they set it with you, you could just say, hey, listen, really sorry, Stephanie's not going to be here today, but she told me all the information about you. She's a real gun, huge fan of her. She might be joining us later. You know, whatever, right? As long as you're delivering value to your clients and these people, it's, you know, you're trying to navigate ways to better help them. There's a real fine line between, I think Alex Hormozy talked about it. He was saying there's a difference between coercion and sales, and coercion is or manipulation in sales, and manipulation is when there's a bad outcome attached to the end, and then sales is when you're genuinely trying to help somebody. So if these things that you're doing are genuinely trying to help someone, like you know you can help them, you should do everything you can to try and help them, right? That's why like guarantees kind of help, because you know, if you can't help them, refund them their money. Like I think that's totally fair. Like if you waste their money and they express that you've wasted their money and their time, you should refund them their money. I fully agree with that. But listen, that's a little trick I think has worked. My agency doing really well, very happy with everything. Yeah, I think just really my goals for the next month are continuously focus on SEO, continuously deliver my service, but also start getting on a project manager, as I think that's the thing that's probably holding me back a little bit. Awesome, guys. I've got plenty more videos actually planned out now, so if you have any questions, chuck them in the comment section down below. Go ahead and fire me some questions. I'm fully available. You got my Instagram, LinkedIn, my website's all there. And yeah, stay tuned. Subscribe to the next one. Cheers.